Hi, this is Jen Owen NP coming to you from my kitchen with week 2 of Real Food with Jen Owen NP. This week I'm going to be showing you some of the changes that I'm doing to transition our kitchen more into real foods. I did have a question this week. Someone asked how I was going to begin to start making all these things and how I would have time for that. Well, I'm not. I'm not going to begin to making all these things all at once. I'm going to be doing a few things each week to make the transition. And I'm also going to be trying to find as many local sources or small farm sources of the foods that we eat as we go. One of the most important things about transitioning and about planning your meals in general is to have a plan. So I have made it one of my jobs, like I take as seriously as my regular job, to set up our food each week. So this morning I sat and I wrote down every meal that we need to eat, what we're going to have, and as part of my real food transition, I've also included things that I need to remember for prep. So for example, for the Super Bowl, we're going to be having some beef ribs. So I wanted to remind myself Saturday morning to take those local beef ribs out of the freezer. When we plan, it's much easier to have the food ready that we need and to be prepared. The other thing I want to show you is just some of the foods that we're going to be doing this week and some of the foods that we transitioned over. So before, I might have bought walnuts in a package that went through a factory. Now, in all honesty, I don't know where these walnuts came from, but they are in the bulk section, so I know they haven't been there very long or they would be rancid. So I bought my walnuts that I use in my morning smoothie in the bulk. Then we also bought our flour in bulk, rice, and beans. So that's a transition. So instead of buying canned beans, I bought dry beans that I'm going to soak. If you want to learn more about soaking and sprouting your own beans, I have a blog on my website that's called Beans, the Magical Fruit. Some of the foods that we're still eating packaged, but we're going to be transitioning soon, one of those is beef broth. So I bought this organic beef broth today to use in the ribs and a couple other dishes, but after I make those ribs, I'm going to make my own bone broth. And there's actually a post in my new Facebook group called Real Food with Jen Owen NP from a friend of mine who tells us how she makes her own bone broth. So if you want to know about that, be sure to join the group. A couple other packaged things I'm not quite ready to make. Soy milk, I don't know if I'll ever make my own tofu. We did get some local feta cheese, local eggs, and then we bought all the produce from our local co-op. One of the things I do every week is I take fresh vegetables and I fill up this veggie tray when we get home from the store. That way, anyone who wants to have fresh vegetables has them available. We usually have hummus as well, and I've been buying store-bought hummus. I do have some left, so I'm going to finish that, and then I'm going to make my own hummus from here on out. So those are some of the basic things we're doing. I'll show you here what it looks like when we soak our own beans, which you can see more of on the blog. And then you can see I make a daily herbal infusion, and I'll be talking about that more in the future as well. So that's the basics for this week. I do have a lot more information over on the blog for the week. And again, my website's jenowenNP.com. It should be the first blog that comes up when you click blog. Also, again, I have my new Facebook group that I'm very excited about. I'll be doing some live videos in there, sharing even more information. So if you want to join that, that's Real Food with Jen Owen NP. And then obviously don't forget to sign up for the newsletter that goes out every week about this so you don't miss a thing. I'd love to hear from you with your comments, questions, any advice that you have for me in the process. I'm very interested. Have a great week. See you next week.